Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakura Tirobhava Mahotsav ki Jai. We'll sing a song called Siddhi Lalasa, written by Bhaktivinoda Thakura. Siddhi Lalasa means to hanker in great expectation. Lalasa. Siddhi means perfection, hankering after perfection. So I'll read the translation, text 1 to 4. When will I wander weeping under the shade of various trees and creepers on the banks of the Ganga river in the land of Navadvip, crying, O Radhe, O Krishna, forgetting all physical comforts. I will even take my meals by begging at the homes of the Chandalas and will drink the water of the Saraswati. In ecstasy I will roll on the ground along the banks of the river, raising an uproar of Krishna, Krishna. Bowing down to the inhabitants of the holy land of Navadvip, I will beg a bit of mercy. I will wear the dress of a mendicant and smear the dust of the Vaishnava's feet on my body. I see no difference between the inhabitants of Rajabhumi and those of Navadvip, and I will be transformed into a resident of Raja. The true nature of the Lord's abode will manifest itself to my eyes, and I will become a maidservant of Srimati Radharani. Kabe Gauravani Suradhuni Tate Hara Deha Krishna Bole. Kabe Gauravani Suradhuni Tate Hara Deha Krishna Bole. Kandiya berabo deho sukha chari nanala tattarutale. Kandiya berabo deho sukha chari nanala tattarutale. Shvapacha grhete Magya khaibo pibo saraswati jala. Swachacha grhete Magya khaibo pibo saraswati jala. Puline puline garagari dibo kore Krishna kola hala. Puline puline garagari dibo kore Krishna kola hala. Dhamabasi jane pranati koriya magibo kriparalesha. Dhamabasi jane pranati koriya magibo kriparalesha. Vaishnava charana renugaya maki dhoriya vadhuta besha. Vaishnava charane renugaya maki dhoriya vadhuta besha. Gauda braja jane Bhedana dekhibo ibo baraja basi. Braja jane dekhibo ibo baraja basi. Thamera swarupa skuribe nayane hoibo radhara dasi. Dhamera swarupa puribe nayane hoibo radharasi. Krishna. So today is the disappearance day of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakura. The Gaudiya Sampradaya has many illustrious acharyas, great devotees, Uh, but the name of Bhaktivinoda Thakur is very much remembered in ISKCON and in the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya because of his phenomenal contribution to Gaudiya Sampradaya. He is known as the grandfather of the ISKCON movement or Hare Krishna movement. But now if you say Hare Krishna movement, we have main ISKCON, then people who don't want to identify, they say Hare Krishna movement. So anyway, he's as the movement that is propagating Mahaprabhu's movement in the modern day, which is now spread all over the world out of India, was actually conceived of by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. He first conceived this idea that this movement will spread all over the world. And of course it was Mahaprabhu's, it was his will, but Bhaktivinoda Thakur practically started to take steps to do it. And we'll see how he was the first to send the teachings of Mahaprabhu to the West. When we see powerful Acharya like Srila Prabhupada, what he did, 108 temples established in 11 years, writing so many books, commentaries, planting the pristine Vedic culture in the West. Pristine means pure, not because now when we say Vedic culture, there will be some mixtures of other languages and cultures, but Prabhupada planted the pure Vedic culture as it is in the West, and that was a great achievement. It's going on, and after he left, it's going on, it's increasing. So what a personality. So we want to know who was his guru. What kind of personality was he? Because Prabhupada was saying, I am simply bringing my guru's mercy. I am simply bringing the mercy of my guru and his teachings. I have no credit in the matter. We see that he has a great credit because he was not the only disciple of his guru. But Prabhupada would say that. So we want to know who is that personality, who Prabhupada got inspiration from to do this and such a strength. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. But then Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur himself established 64 Math and almost single-handedly fought and removed the main obstacles for ISKCON to spread. Now what we call ISKCON, it's only able to spread because of what Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur did. He removed the caste Goswamis. That was the guru. To be a guru was only a prerogative of certain people coming in the line of certain families. They were known as Jat Gosais. So he removed that, and he removed a lot of other things. The idea that Vaishnava is greater than our Brahmin. So many things which ISKCON would not have been able to even start, let alone spread. So he's removed a lot of obstacles, himself, almost single-handedly. So that was Prabhupada's guru. Bhaktisiddhanta himself was brought up in a family. And what we can just imagine how he was brought up and what he was taught that this was the final product. Who was that personality? So he was actually biological son, if you want to put it like that, of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. But of course, these are all liberated souls. We don't look at that bodily relation. But okay, he was brought up in the house of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur also claimed that one of his gurus was Bhaktivinoda Thakur. He took Diksha from Gorakishore Das Babaji Maharaj, but he was also saying, my gurus, not one, Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Gorakishore Das Babaji. He derived great inspiration from them. And his movement, the Gaudiya Math, he kept saying that I am simply propagating Bhaktivinoda. The teachings of Bhaktivinoda. And he set up a printing press. The first thing to do was to publish all the songs of Bhaktivinoda Thakur and his teachings. And what he did in his manifest presence was simply what he was told to do by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. He was told, do this, do that. He did that. And of course, within the instruction of the Guru comes the mercy. So the mercy to do it, he is claiming, is Bhaktivinoda Thakur wrote it. So then who is Bhaktivinoda Thakur? Such a personality. who is known also as the father of the modern Bhakti movement. Bhakti was a very ancient practice in India, but in modern day the resurgence is credited with Bhaktivinoda Thakura, the father of the modern Bhakti movement. Okay, of course, previously we had great acharyas, Ramanuja was there, but then after there was a great decline during the colonial period. People were, British were expert at making people leave the culture, religion and traditions. Bhaktivinoda Thakur in that environment under the British created such a resurgence, spread this Gaudiya teachings once again, that it was almost superhuman. A human cannot do that. Practically alone, he traveled all over Bengal and urban and rural and villages. Same time he had a job, same time he wrote books, same time he managed a Krishna conscious family, same time he chanted his rounds. I don't think it was 16, but I don't know. 16? 64 rounds. So at same time, and he didn't sleep, he hardly slept. We'll see his schedule. Yeah, so Bhaktivinoda Thakur appeared in what is now known as Nadia district in West Bengal, in Birnagar. There's a memorial there, his appearance, where it happened. In the year 1838, he appeared. He was a Nitya Siddha. Jivas are Nitya Baddha and Nitya Siddha. Nitya Baddha means we are in Maya. And we say Nitya because we're in Maya. It's not Nitya, we come from originally Vaikuntha. But because it's such a long time, we say Nitya. We are in Maya so long. But Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur and these acharyas that came in our line, from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu up till Srila Prabhupada, maybe more also, after that I don't know, they were Nitya Siddhas. They were not in Maya. They came to do a certain specific job and task ordered by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur is a Nitya Siddha. But if you see his life, apparently there was so much suffering, disease, obstacles and material problems, apparently. And he persevered, he still maintained his sadhana and propagated the movement, did his preaching, did his writing, did his job, maintained his family. If you just read how members of his family died so much, mother died, then his elder brother died, then he went to study in Calcutta, he came back, whole family died except mother and paternal grandmother. I can't remember. So 2 members of his family survived there. So that was disease and a lot of obstacles. So he personally showed how one can persevere in great material difficulty and problems and still go on practicing and preaching Krishna consciousness. This is material world. There will be problems. You don't be surprised. Be surprised when there are no problems. Oh, everything is going well. What is going on? There will be problems. And therefore, very early in Gita, Krishna told Arjuna, Tam titikshasva bharata, that Arjun, you tolerate difficulties and do your duty as a Kshatriya. Mata sparshastu kaunteya. These difficulties are only sense perception. You are perceiving because of your senses and mind as difficulties. They are not difficulties. Mata sparshastu kaunteya, shitoshna sukha dukkada. Just like summer comes, winter comes. Now summer was there, it will go. Then winter will come, it will go. So suffering comes, it goes. Happiness comes, goes. What do? Ignore it. Just go on. Shitoshna sukha dukkada. Agama paino nityas. They come and go. Anitya. They are not eternal. Only one thing is eternal. Holy name. And Krishna and Jiva. Nityas. Tam titikshasa bharata. Tolerate. So now how does a Vaishnava practically live and tolerate and in this modern material world? So Bhaktivinoda Thakur showed that in his life if we study it. When he appeared in great opulence. His maternal side owned a huge estate, hundreds of servants, male and female servants, serving in the house, in the garden, in the lawn, huge land. He was born in opulence. Gradually he fell into, because of apparently, looked like the money went the relatives went, and he had to struggle, apparently, liberated soul, and maintain that estate. He said, he wrote later, it was very difficult. It was a big estate. Thieves were coming. I gave sticks and lathis to all the servants. We had to walk around at night. They were, no one helped because they thought he's a rich person, big house, but actually there was nothing left that time. So that's one example, how great difficulty. So in his family, he was known as Daitya Kulera Prahlad. That in the family of Daityas, Prahlad was the only devotee. So he was known because his family were all Shaktas, and there was not much respecting Vaishnavism, but he took it up took it up, but he really took it with a full force and became a preacher and spread it. So he was known as Daitya Kulera Prahlad, means like Prahlad in the Daityas, among the Daityas. So he studied at some point while he was, after he studied his so-called education, he went to Kolkata and studied. So after that, when he began his working life, he did a great study of philosophy and religion. He studied a lot of Eastern and Western philosophy. Western philosophies also he studied, Christianity he studied, and compared them. Around 1500 AD, 1500, in that year, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had inaugurated the Sankirtan movement, his Sankirtan movement. So as time went on, Gaudiya Vaishnavism gradually became lost, confused, and misconstrued, misrepresented the philosophy. So he gradually, in his studies, he came to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teachings. So when he read those teachings, he came to the conclusion, this is the topmost philosophy, the highest evolution of religion. And so he wanted to go deeper into it. So he looked for a copy of Chaitanya Charitamrita. He could not find it. It was very difficult to find, because many people had published wrong versions and put their own speculative, interpretations. And so it took time, but he found it. He studied it greatly. And at some point, externally it seemed like he accepted Gaudiya Vaishnavism. He accepted the philosophy and he preached it on such a wide scale, simultaneously with his job. He even tried to leave his job, they refused, because he was very expert in his job. British were hiring him directly. So he wholeheartedly embraced Gaudiya Vaishnavism, and he wrote books and propagated it to such an extent that single-handedly he changed the whole landscape. Bengal, within Navadvip he preached. He was preaching in Navadvip, Mahaprabhu's appearance place. Bengal, among the what we call Bhadralok in Bengal, that was the people who were higher class educated and gentlemen. They were not gentlemen. They were basically imitating the British, and so they were known as the higher class, wearing suit, tie, speaking English. Bhadralok, gentle people, gentlemen. So he preached among them. He preached among British people, and he made an impact. In the later years, he founded what we call now Namahatta, preaching. It's through traveling and preaching by using books and writing material, graded, systematic preaching, elevating people by traveling, going to this place, then this place, that different places, going, traveling, preaching. So he established that system, and because of that, whole areas of that Bengal changed, and he established that system. Later on will be taken up. If it's till now, it's going on in ISKCON, the Namahatta system, where few people or one person will preach and keep preaching, going to different areas. That way I'm one person, I'm one person, I'll preach in my area. But no, systematic preaching, elevating people through printed material and graded system for advancing everyone. So that way Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pure teachings spread more far and wide. A very significant contribution of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakura, because he's an acharya, practically they're all acharyas in our movement, but is the great contribution of the songs. Like we sang one song, simple language, but highest Bhagavad philosophy. Bhagavad philosophy of the Vedas is the highest. The Vedas contain a lot of different information because the jivas are different. Some don't want liberation; they want to enjoy. Okay, enjoy like this. Some want to enjoy in a in a vikarmic, how do you say, sinful way. And Veda shows how to do, but they have to suffer for that. So now the highest path is Bhagavad Dharma, but how can to understand it? How do you understand? So Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he put that great Bhagavad Dharma philosophy in simple songs, which we sing. And so we found villages in Bengal speaking high philosophy understanding because of this songs of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Even within our movement, sometimes we speak on philosophy. It's difficult to stay awake or to concentrate. It's not easy because especially Kali Yuga, to focus on philosophy, especially hours and hours before, it was like that. It's not so easy. But we'll sing a song, everyone will get that philosophy. A lot of his songs, they're encapsulating a verse, a key verse in Srimad Bhagavatam. And who knows the Bhagavatam will understand this is speaking this. Or a certain deep concept of bhakti is being encapsulated in the song. So this was a great contribution by Bhaktivinoda Thakur, which carries on till today. Till today, who doesn't want to sing song and dance? So through the songs of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, people attain Krishna consciousness. One great event in the history of the Gaudiya Vaishnava movement was when it went to the West. So who first took the teachings of the Gaudiya Vaishnava movement to the West? Who?
Prabhupada.
Prabhupada, okay. Prabhupada went to the West, but actually before Prabhupada, some others had gone to the West. Bhaktisiddhanta had, Saraswati Thakur sent some other disciples, but it was not so successful. But then, even before that, Bhaktivinoda Thakur had written a book called Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his life and precepts. The life of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and precept. Precepts means the main points by which the one is following his teaching. In other words, the teachings. So he sent that to McGill University in Canada. Later, Prabhupada's followers found it. They found that book. And that book was also later found its way in London, in university. And it was reviewed by some great scholars. So first time teachings went to the West, Bhaktivinoda Thakur had done that. And the same year that that book was sent to the West, another great event happened in the history of Gaudiya Vaishnava movement and history of the human society. The same year, Srila Prabhupada appeared in Kolkata. That place is there, the Janmasthan, appearance of Srila Prabhupada is still there. And so he appeared in the same year that the teachings went to the West. It's significant. Bhaktivinoda Thakur is known as the grandfather of the ISKCON movement or the Hare Krishna movement because he first envisioned that when will these teachings spread all over the world? He actually said, when will Russians, Americans come and dance here with Indians and all chant Jai Sachinandan, Jai Sachinandan, Jai Sachinandan, Gaura Hari. One of his question, but some say it was actually a prediction that great Acharya said that it will happen. Acharyas, there's a controversial statement made by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakura, where at some point some were criticizing him that you're not following Veda. What are you doing? Why are you wearing shoes? Why are you traveling in cars? Sannyasi should not do that. So Bhaktivinoda made a statement which is controversial. He said, Acharyas are not under Shastra, they make Shastra. So and you have to understand that properly. Actually, Shastra is the center of everything. But Acharya when he's doing something, you can understand that is Shastra. It must be. He will not do otherwise. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he so-called apparently maybe broke some rules, even Bhaktisiddhanta, but actually they're directly under Krishna, and they were following Krishna's order to spread the movement far and wide. That's why they were apparently looking like not following that teachings. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur, after he studied the teachings of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu so deeply, he then came to that conclusion, this must go to the West, this must spread all over the world, this must be the main religion. All the religious principles, conclusions of great whatever religion are here, and more, much more. So his desire to spread this all over the West was, he wrote about it, he spoke about it. We'll see that later. His pranam mantra, by the pranam mantra we can understand the mission of the acharyas. So, Namo Bhaktivinodaya Satchidananda Namine Gaura Shakti Swarupaya Rupanuga Varayate Namo Bhaktivinodaya. I offer my obeisances unto Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Namo Bhaktivinodaya Satchidananda Namine. Also having a form, Satchidananda, known as Satchidananda. Satchidananda means spiritual form. Chit Ananda, spiritual form, full of knowledge, eternal form, and full of happiness. Satchidananda Namine Gaura Shakti Swarupaya. You are the form of the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's spiritual energy. By Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's spiritual energy, all of us are here. And whole movement is spreading in the West, whereas it could not spread. How in Kali Yuga will anything spread religious? It's not happening. In Kali Yuga, religion declines, dharma declines. Dharma in the form of a bull has 4 legs, which is satyam, kripa, kripa, shocha, and tapasya. 4 principles of religion are embodied in the form of a bull, the 4 legs of the bull: cleanliness, mercy, austerity, and truthfulness. So we understand from Shastra that as the Satya, Treta, Dwapar and Kali progress, each one of the legs of the bull goes. So now in the beginning of Kali only 1 leg is remaining, that is Satyam, truth. But really we look around and see where is the truth? Because in Kali that will also go. So practically no dharma is there. So dharma is only moving because of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy, anything is happening. And Mahaprabhu's mercy is coming how? Because Mahaprabhu is unmanifest. He is there, but unmanifest. It's coming through the acharyas. And acharyas are not there, so it's coming through the followers. The mercy of Mahaprabhu is coming through you and you, book distributors and preachers. But now let's look at Bhaktivinoda Thakur. He's compared to the energy, the personification, Gaura Shakti Swarupaya. Swarup means the form, expansion of the mercy Shakti of Mahaprabhu. So Mahaprabhu's mercy came in the form of Bhaktivinoda Thakur to remove all the obstacles of the Gaudiya Vaishnava movement which had developed. Because there was a long period, around 1500 Mahaprabhu, the movement was inaugurated, 1500 AD approximately. Then Bhaktivinoda Thakur appeared some 238 years later. And in that time everything had deteriorated, no big preaching was happened. So Mahaprabhu sent Bhaktivinoda Thakur. He is just a Shakti of Bhaktivinoda Mahaprabhu, personification. Gaura Shakti Swarupaya. He came and Mahaprabhu's mercy, like it came again. Mahaprabhu came again in that form. So his mercy there, because Abhinatva Naman Shakti Matoyor Abedaha, the energy of God and his God and his energy are non-different in one way. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur revived the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya and teachings. And again it resurged, it went and it was taken up again. It was not looked at favorably by respected people. To insult someone, they'll call him you Gaudiya. Insult. You want to insult someone, because it became so degraded. But later it became again that the higher class societies, everyone took it up, educated, studied people. And he put the seed for what is today ISKCON. ISKCON is the fruit of the desire of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. What he wanted came. This is ISKCON. This was his desire. Therefore it happened. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur also, one great event that he did was to discover the birthplace of Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Mahaprabhu's birthplace, it was, you could say, unmanifest, lost after a long time, because people, as the movement declined, people were not taking it up. So where was the appearance place? They could not find. But there's a narration how he found this. It's very interesting. It was around 1886. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he wanted to retire from government service and move to Vrindavan to pursue his bhakti. That is what Vaishnavas do, especially Gaudiyas. But he saw a dream. In the dream, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ordered him, go to Navadvip, don't go to Vrindavan. So he went to Navadvip, and after some difficulty, he was transferred to Krishnanagar, a district center, little far away from Navadvip. So, because he was not allowed to go to Navadvip by his employers, then they said, okay, go to Krishnanagar. But from there, then he'll journey to Navadvip, and it was difficulty because he had poor health, elderly, if you look externally. And he began to regularly go to Navadvip and find out the places of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance. So now this is his personal words. He says here that once by 10 o'clock, the night was very dark and cloudy. Across the Ganga, because his house, he set up across the Ganga, on other side of what is known as Navadvip Dham, the actual place of Mahaprabhu's appearance. So it was a river, and he was living there, and his study overlooked the Ganga, and he was like looking at Navadvip. But that time no one understood where is Mayapur, where is Mahaprabhu's birthplace. He was looking for it, but he established his house. He called it Swananda Sukhada Kunj. Kunj is a grove, place where some trees are coming and blocking, making a hiding area, secret area. Because in Goloka, Bhaktivinoda Thakur actually is having a Nitya Swarup, his identity. He was assisting Lalita Sakhi in the Leela of Radha Krishna. So he descended, that time he had a different form. He later said that he was known as a Manjari, Kamala Manjari. He was a assistant to the Gopi in Goloka, is. And then he descended to avatar in this sampradaya just to do the mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and spread Radha Krishna teachings. So he's writing here that so he called his place Swananda Sukhada Kunj, which means that is the name of Lalita Sakhi's Kunj in Goloka, and he was always helping her, assisting. So he called his house that. So by 10 o'clock that night, it was very dark and cloudy. Across the Ganga in a northern direction, I suddenly saw a large building flooded with a golden light. I asked Kamala if he could see the building, and he said that he could. But Kamala is maybe one of his sons. Then, okay, but my friend Kerani Babu could see nothing. I was amazed. What could it be? In the morning, I went back to the roof and I looked carefully back across the Ganga. I saw that in the place where I had seen the building was a stand of palm trees. Just some palm trees are there. At night he saw the light. In the same place he's looking, because it was night, he couldn't see. Now he's looking, what was it? Where the light came? What is there? Palm trees. Okay. So then, inquiring about this area, he went there, asked. Then they said that it was the remains of Lakshman Sen's fort at Baladighi. It was some great king had his fort there. So taking this as a clue, Bhaktivinoda conducted an investigation of the site by consulting old maps and matching against scriptural and verbal accounts. Now he looked at the old maps and asked people, what is this? And he asked the people, and he looked at verbal accounts, scripture, tried to match it. And he concluded that the village of Balaldigi was formerly known as Mayapur, confirmed in Bhakti Ratnakar as the birth site of Chaitanya. Okay, I'll read this part again. He concluded that the village of Balaldigi, it was known as Balaldigi, but that was actually Mayapur. And it's confirmed in a Bhakti Ratnakar, which is a book written by Narahari Thakur, important book in our Sampradaya, later after Mahaprabhu, that actually this was the birth site of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. 5 minutes, give me 3 minutes, let me know 3 minutes before. Okay, so he soon acquired the property in Surabi Kunj near Mayapur to oversee the temple construction at Chaitanya birthplace. So how he found out that place? He went there and he took his guru. His guru was Jagannath Das Babaji. At that time he was over 100 years old. He could not walk, he could not see. He could not see because his skin and eyes covered, in front of the eyes covered the eyes like that. He could not walk, he was just used to sit whole day like that. But he could speak Gyan, we didn't understand what he's saying. And everyone understood he's a great devotee. So, he took his guru in a basket. He could not walk. He took him like that, and when they reached that place of Mahaprabhu's birthplace, his guru jumped from the basket, landed on the ground and started shouting and dancing, loudly jumping, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Gaura Hari, chanting Mahaprabhu's names. Then he understood this is the birthplace of Mahaprabhu. And actually Pranamant of Jagannath Das Babaji, Gaura Vir Bhavastvam Nideshata Sajjana Priya Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Shri Jagannathaya Te Namaha, that you discover the birthplace of Mahaprabhu, greatest of the Vaishnavas, Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Jagannathaya Te Namaha. So he is credited with discovering the birthplace along with his guru. So that is a very significant event in the history of Gaudiya Vaishnavism, in our Sampradaya, discovering that place. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur had done that. The Namahatta parties that he established, they made huge areas of Bengal and Orissa into Gaudiya Vaishnava villages, which are still like that. There's a narration of Bish Kishan. There was a particular personality who was claiming to be Vishnu, Mahavishnu. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he clashed with him, this person, and everyone was afraid because that person was a yogi, he had some powers. So no one wanted to fight him. But Bhaktivinoda Thakur, as a district magistrate, he tried to remove this person. And as a result, his daughter nearly died because of the curse of this yogi. He was a powerful personality. Okay, I made a note and I am finding where is the note. Okay, 1 second. Find it. Okay, then I'll just narrate it. That there was a person known as Bishkishan, and he was claiming to be Mahavishnu. So he could actually emanate fire from his hand, from his head, and he could do some magic tricks which made people afraid. So he said that I'm going to take over this whole Bengal, I'm going to become the king. So the British also now, they're ruling, they thought this is not good, we are the ruler. Then they issued an order, this person should be arrested. But no one went to arrest him because yogi, powerful yogi, so they got afraid. So then Bhaktivinoda Thakur went to him and started speaking with him, and he told Bhaktivinoda Thakur that he is Mahavishnu. Then in the course of their conversation, he insulted Jagannath. He said that, however the conversation went, I can't remember, but he said that, I'm not going to go and see that lump of wood. I am Vishnu. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur was a Vaishnava. Vaishnava will not allow blaspheming of Krishna. So he got angry and he threw him in jail. And when then the court proceedings started, it was very difficult because he was manifesting his powers. And during the time that the trial was going, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, his family fell very sick, daughter nearly died, and they could see. And then his wife told him, just let this person go, we're going to die, you know. He said no. So then it went on, the case, and at the end, when they finally passed the case, Bhaktivinoda Thakur quickly ran to him and cut his hair. And then he fell down, and I think it said that he died. But actually yogis keep their power in their hair. So that trial lasted 18 days. In those 18 days, thousands of people came to see. But in that time, everyone got sick in Bhaktivinoda Thakur's family. 3 minutes, let me know. Okay, so that was a significant event, how he confronted, a yogi. Yogis are powerful, but actually a bhakti yogi, one who does bhakti, is supposed to be more powerful. That narration is in Srimad Bhagavatam of Ambarish Maharaj and Durvasa Muni, to show that a bhakti yogi is not lacking anything when he is practicing. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur made some predictions. I'm going to find them. He made some predictions that would happen, which prediction means it's like he's saying so it will happen. Okay, if I could find that. A lot of notes here and there. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so one of the predictions was, of course, that he said that this movement will spread all over the world. Better I find it, one second. Prediction. Okay, before the predictions, I want to speak one quote from one of his writings. He wrote over 100 works. And to understand some of his philosophy, I'll just read some paragraph here. He wrote in the following quote from Gitavali. He who has failed to carefully worship the lotus feet of Sri Radhika, which are the abodes of all auspiciousness, he who has not taken shelter in the transcendental abode of Vrindavan, which is decorated with the lotus flower named Radha, he who in his life has not associated with devotees of Radhika who are full of wisdom and love for Radhika, how will such a person ever feel the bliss of bathing in the ocean of Lord Shyamasundara's sublime mellows? Just one thing to mention here, Gaudiya Vaishnavas are actually followers and worshippers of Radharani. But in the sadhak stage, we always worship Krishna because it's pleasing to Radha. At a later stage, we learn higher philosophy. So now Bhaktivinoda Thakur wrote a lot in this area and higher songs which we don't look at. But How it's not in the Shastra, it's not in Rig Veda, Samaveda. How to know about these things? Because he himself is in the Leela. In Goloka, he is in that Leela. So he descended and wrote songs and writings and gave out the higher teachings. And therefore he is known as Rupanuga. Rupanuga Varayate in his Pranam Mantra. Because Rupanuga Varayate means that he is the greatest of the followers of Rupa Goswami. Rupa Goswami is the person who spread Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teachings. Mahaprabhu himself did not write anything. He taught Rupa Goswami, who wrote everything and wrote in form of books and spread it all around. Okay, so now 3 predictions that Bhaktivinoda Thakur made. Okay, one of them. Devoid of pride, full of humility, radiant, with pure love for Radha Govinda, Srila Prabhupada gave all credit to, Srila Prabhupada fulfilled 3 predictions of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Okay. So, yes, sorry, here it is now. 3 predictions. Bhaktivinoda Thakur made 3 predictions concerning a person and a phenomena. A personality will soon appear, wrote Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and he will travel all over the world to spread the teachings of Lord Chaitanya. Srila Prabhupada. He predicted. Second prediction, very soon the chanting of Harinam Sankirtan will spread all over the world. Oh, when will that day come when people from America, England, France, Germany and Russia will take up kartals and mridangas and chant Hare Krishna in their towns? So after him, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur tried to spread it. And not tried, he could have, but it was a Leela. That it was not happening. Then Prabhupada came, and at that time everyone was wondering, how is it possible? It's not possible. We are under British people, why should they take our movement? And also, at the present moment, India is not so prominent in the country, in the world. It's not having money, no political influence. But he said, no, Mahaprabhu said it will happen. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, when will it happen? And in their country, they'll play kartal and mridangas, then they'll chant. And then third prediction, when will that day come when fair-skinned foreigners will come to Sri Mayapur Dham and join with the Bengali Vaishnavas to chant Jai Sachinandan, Jai Sachinandan? When will that day come? It came. Now if you go to Mayapur, yeah, you should go to Mayapur also. Then you will see that. Srila Prabhupada said it's spiritually significant that he himself appeared in 1896. The same year Bhaktivinoda Thakur sent his book overseas. The will of Lord Chaitanya, the desire of Thakur Bhaktivinoda, and the mercy of Srila Saraswati Thakur empowered Srila Prabhupada, founder of ISKCON, to spread Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teachings and the chanting of Hare Krishna. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur's mercy, it came in the form of Srila Prabhupada, Bhaktisiddhanta, the books, and the modern followers. ISKCON is a manifestation of the mercy of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, therefore he is known as the grandfather. Okay, a lot is there to say. What will I look at now? Quickly we look at Bhaktivinoda Thakur's schedule. Bhaktivinoda Thakur was district judge, high court judge, father to many children, about 8, 9, maybe 10, I can't remember, including Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And he wrote 100 books, and he chanted his rounds, and wrote, and what else, and well, he did a lot of things. So how did he do that? If you just study his schedule, you'll understand. Okay, here it is. 7:30 to 8 p.m, rest, sleeping. 10 p.m, rise, light the oil lamp and write. He'll write from 10 p.m. till 4 a.m. 4 a.m, rest again, till 4:30, half an hour. Then rise, wash hands and face, chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. 2.5 hours chanting, like us. 7 o'clock, write letters. Many people write, he replies. 7:30 a.m, reading. We're meant to read 1 hour, he's reading. He read 1 hour. Then 8:30, receive guests. Continue to read, if no guests are there. 9:30 to 9:45 a.m, 15 minutes, rest. 9:45 a.m, morning bath, breakfast, half liter milk, some chapati, some fruits. 9:55 a.m, go to court. In court, he'll wear coat and pants and huge tulasi neck bead big Vaishnav tilak, and he was very strong in his decision. He would take a judgment and stick. He did not allow any nonsense by any criminal, nothing. He would shave his head once a month, fully. It said, here I'm reading from Krishna.com, he never allowed harmonium in his Sankirtan, considering it a distraction from the sound of the holy name. He never had any debts. 10 a.m., court began. 1 p.m., court finished. He would judge everything within short time, more fast than anyone in the court. 1 p.m., court finished. Come home, bath, refresh. 2 p.m., return to office for 3 hours. 5 p.m., begin translate works from Sanskrit to Bengali. He translated many books. Then take evening bath, then rice, some chapati, and half-liter milk. He always kept a pocket watch and kept time punctually. Every event, Indian time was not, he was not following Indian time. So, that is his life. He was always charitable to Brahmanas and equally befriended other castes. He never showed pride. He was a great gentleman. He spoke Bengali, Sanskrit, English, Latin, Urdu, Persian, and Oriya. He started writing books at age 12, continued turning out a profuse number of books, over 100 books. In 1914, to our external vision, Bhaktivinoda Thakur left. He left in Jagannath Puri. Towards the later years of his life, he manifest life. He came to Jagannath Puri. From there, he preached and wrote books, but mostly he was absorbed in bhajan, and preaching he delegated to his son and great Acharya Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. He empowered him, he gave him all instructions. And Bhaktisiddhanta said, I am simply following order. I'm going on the mercy of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, that's all. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur at the end, he entered into Samadhi, and gradually he externally looked like paralyzed. He just closed his eyes and he could not move. And everyone started saying, you see, sinful person, now he got paralyzed. He's speaking against the upper sampradayas and deviants. They said that. So Bhaktisiddhanta came before Bhaktivinoda Thakur that you please come back, because these people are saying that. They can't understand. Actually, you're entering bhajan. They think that because it showed that he's paralyzed medically. So you come back. So he came back. He again came and continued living. Then later again, he went into bhajan. In later years, he just hear Chaitanya Charitamrita. And when he will ask people to chant Chaitanya Charitamrita, when he hears Chaitanya Charitamrita, it's written Bhaktisanta Vaibhav, he'll get up and start dancing. It's like music. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Katha. So that was later years of his life. Bhaktisiddhanta that time was worshipping Gandharvika Giridhari in one mutt in Jagannath Puri, which is on Saptarishi Road, that one road. So he that time told him now to go and preach. So he sent him to Navadvip. He went to Navadvip and he continued preaching and excavating the holy places, serving Gora Nam, Gora Kam, Gora Dham. Gora Nam means he preaching the Mahaprabhu's name and the holy name. Gora Kam, fulfilling the order of Mahaprabhu, whatever the teachings. And third, Gora Dham, revealing the Navadvip Dham more and more. So that was his task. And then Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he stayed in Jagannath Puri and made his Bhajan Kutir right there, next to facing Haridas Thakur's Samadhi. And he called it Bhakti Kuti. Later ISKCON took over that place and established a guest house. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur's Murti is there. So when they sing Kirtan, they'll chant his Pranam mantra first. No, they'll chant Prabhupada, then his mantra. And that is basically Bhakti Kuti. He's non-different from his Bhajan Kutir. So 1914, he departed in Jagannath Puri. Glorious departure. Jagannath Puri, anyone will attain. But he was never in this world. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, when someone came to him and said, I knew your father, Bhaktivinoda Thakur. He said, you did not know him. Yes, I knew him. No, you did not know him. I came to see him, you were there, small boy, didn't you see me? No, you did not know him. Then person got angry. I knew his father and he was there. Now he's saying, I don't know, he walked away. But understanding is that no one actually knew who Bhaktivinoda Thakur is. They were speaking to him like an ordinary man, but he was appearing from Goloka to fulfill the order of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Krishna to preach this message. So that was who he was. That they saw him as an ordinary man. And so they were not able to properly appreciate his message. Even his own brothers, they could not. But Bhakti Sansraj Thakur said, he didn't see him as his father. He saw, this is my Acharya, Guru. So his samadhi is now in Swananda Sukada Kunj in Navadvip. If we have any mercy of his, we can go get his permission to go and bow down and be there, spend some time again. And that place, he is there, samadhi, and people visit there. And next to him is his dear servant Krishna Das, who left the body just after him. He was his personal servant. Okay, we'll finish off by a famous saying that he said, about Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, he reasons ill who tells that Vaishnavas die when thou art living still in sound. The Vaishnavas die to live, and living try to spread the holy name around. So translation in English, that he's saying that Vaishnavas do not die. They live in sound. That whatever the instructions are, if you follow, you can associate with them. And Srila Prabhupada said that, I'll never die, I'll be in my books. Bhaktivinoda Thakur did not die, he is present. Who can associate with him? If you follow his order, means following your Guru, following Prabhupada, we can associate with him and get his mercy. He's still there. Thou art still living in sound, and try to spread the holy name around. They are still preaching to their followers. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur ki jai. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur Tirobhava Mahotsav ki jai.